Yeah, just did anything back here. It's all good.
Welcome back, my fellow duplicates, to Oxygen Not Included. This is the Rancher Upgrade Preview, and this is the update that a lot of us that have been waiting for a long time here. Allows us to more or less make more and more hatches, our own little like farm, where we can grow more hatches. We can give them food. They can then make eggs, which we can then incubate and make more hatches, or slicksters, or puffs, or shine bugs. Any of those we can make more and more of, or we can use the eggs here to make ourselves some nice, tasty omelets. You know what they say, an omelet a day keeps the hatches away. That's it. However, a more sinister alternative is to slaughter your animals and then make them into sweet barbecue and enjoy that nice soul food buff. Tasty. As you can imagine, there's a lot of things we can do with this. Slicksters, obviously, can consume carbon dioxide. In this situation right here, you can see that I have the oxygen overlay. We have oxygen above here, lots of decent oxygen, not a whole lot, but down here is the carbon dioxide. So therefore, this slickster is working to manage that sort of carbon dioxide inside of my base, producing a byproduct, which is the oil. Perfect. I can crude oil and use that for stuff, and I can also feed him, because now animals have a calorie intake that is meaningful in this game. So there's different stats over here that more or less affect their happiness. And once you reach a certain threshold, I believe it's either 75-ish or 80%, they will then start to reproduce, and that means they're going to drop an egg. And this is right now, if they're happy, it's now 20 per cycle sort of thing. So there's a change per cycle percentages over here. You have to meet a certain threshold. Now, in this situation right here, we got Travaldo. He's now running a grooming station. He'll go over there, and you'll see eventually here once he stops suffocating. All right, so the puff consumes polluted oxygen, turns it into calories for itself, and then poops out slime, which the hatches are now eating up to, feed themselves. I just think it's a funny cycle. There's also this new piece of equipment. There's a couple of them down here. There's a grooming station, which we'll take a look at here pretty soon once the duplicate goes to use it. Come on, Travaldo, do your job. And this one over here is a critter feeder. So that is set up to feed the different animals you got. So shine bugs or whatever. You can stick whatever you want inside of there, and it should feed them. From what I'm seeing right now in this early version of kind of the preview, it doesn't seem to be working quite as intended. They don't ever seem to eat out of here, depending on what you put in. Maybe not. But so depending on if you're playing this early on, you might have to just drop things on the floor like this. So if I just deconstruct that real quick, you'll see that a bunch of rock drops down, and you'll see, just like we've seen before, hatches will come over there, and see now its calories have gone back up to 4,000. They actually consume quite a bit, change per cycle, 1,500 calories, but you don't necessarily need to feed them food. Actually, I think this thing might only work if I put in actual food. I don't think it's supposed to work that way, but whatever. It's kind of like a storage compactor that you can then automatically eat out of, which is exactly what it should be. I have noticed certain animals like to eat certain stuff, so we should see that shine bugs like phosphorite. I'm not 100% sure. There's some lacking description over here. That'll be filled out here in the next couple days, so I can't really confirm or deny exactly what everything eats, simply because it's not spelled out clearly. This right here, see there's a little book. We can open that up, so that's kind of a new browse database entries right here, so you can actually start to look at things. So I might be able to find like hatch, and then you can look that up and you can click on it. So that's pretty cool. Get some more information out of it. You can see that it makes coal, or if you look up puffed, it's just kind of a neat little tool right there. What about gold? Yes, nice. You can look up the material properties of stuff, so very nice. Information right there inside of the game. You don't have to go looking all over the place for it. Another part of this update is a change to the priority system. So they're trying something new again, and what we have over here under priorities is a new way of looking at priorities. And this is very similar to like RimWorld or something like that. If we click on this top tab, we'll see that we have basically 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4, or basically disabled, low. I don't really want to do that very much. Standard, high, or very high. And if their job is in that something or whatever, it's basically equivalent to very high priority. So you can say certain people want to do things or not do them at all if you want to, more or less try that. So right click is down, left click is up, or you just kind of manage the whole thing like this. There's probably going to be some more little tweaks and stuff to this between the current build as of today when I'm looking at this compared to when it actually comes out for the official release. So something like this will probably look a little bit different, and something might be done with this down here because there is still the 1 through 9 even though you can't physically see it. The main thing is they're trying to make a new priority system that really does work and works well with the new job system. So hopefully it all, comes together and works out great. I've yet to really play with this on a large scale, so we'll have to just see how that works. We'll try it in my base with like 60 duplicates and see if people actually do the right thing or if they just go crazy. All right, so here's Trevaldo. He's doing his job. He's whistling. So if he's trying to call over the puffed here, I think you'd be like, and then the puffed would come over, but in this case it was a shine bug, so I don't know what a shine bug sounds like. But there you have it. So now he's been groomed, so plus 30% per cycle right there. You can see that increases its happiness. Now starving, the opposite, so when you don't have the right food inside of here, is actually negative 30%. So you can't just groom it and have them starve to death. You actually have to be able to feed them a little bit. But then again, we also have some jobs over here. So we've got ranch. So that's pretty sweet. And I'm going to go ahead and try to move Trevaldo up to the next level. However, every time I've done this, and he starts to use this, it actually crashed earlier. But we'll see. Might actually be able to get a better buff out of that. Let's see if it crashes. No? There we go. I wonder what his actual benefit is here. Alright, so that's all it is. He's just faster. Anyhow, that's pretty awesome. It's going to be very useful, and there's a lot of things to do and explore down here when it comes to making large farms. And not to mention, the amount of food you can actually get out of this is really good. I mean, take a look at that. Omelet, though. Look at that. Boop. Super scrumptious. 2,800 calories. That's a lot. And when you consider that it takes 5 cycles in order to make an egg, well, you can convert a lot of things around. Now, obviously, you'll have to feed all of these different animals a certain food or whatever. That kind of brings me to the last update here, which I think is absolutely awesome and is really going to open a lot of doors for us as far as what we can do inside of this game, and that is all the new geysers that they've added to this game. So if we scroll on up here, we'll see one of them that I've found inside of the game. We can see that this is a natural gas geyser. It looks a little bit different, some new temporary art on it. And what you need is a scientist to come up here and actually analyze this thing, and that doesn't really stop it from working, at least in this version of the game as it is right now, but it will give you some more information down here, which is like the active period time. So these have some certain cycle times that are a little bit different as far as how much they actually put out and how many cycles they're going to be active. It's kind of maybe an RNG thing. I'm not 100% sure, but let's dig on over here to the next sort of topic. So, all right, so over here in the forums, there's a guy named R9MX4, and he was actually able to dig into the code and find all of the new geysers that are inside the game and make this image right here, so this little chart. So taking a look at this chart, we can see that all these different types of new steam geysers, new geysers, or volcanoes, or whatever they look like inside the game. There's a couple different, views of it. But essentially, there's a couple different steam geysers. So I actually have his same code here that I've kind of reworked a little bit. And what we have here is we have a steam geyser or we have a hot steam geyser. And over here is the temperature that it is exhausting the steam. Now, a lot of you guys were talking about in the previous episodes here is what happens if you put a steam generator on top of a steam geyser. Well, in this situation, all we had is the cold steam geyser, and now we actually have one that can put out very hot steam at 500 degrees Celsius. Very, very hot, so that means you can actually draw energy off of that. Apparently, there is also water and dirty water or polluted water or filthy water down here, which actually has food poisoning inside of it, and those have different temperatures. That one being negative 10 degrees Celsius. Interesting. Here's a pretty sweet one down here. Volcanoes. We have small volcanoes and even big volcanoes. So magma is no longer a finite thing so long as you can actually find a volcano on your map. So looking back at the map here real quick, a lot of these geysers I've found are actually very, very hidden. You have to dig to them. So your miners have a job to do besides, you know, digging out the most convenient tiles. They have a job to go and explore the map to find what, hopefully, a new geyser that gives you some sort of new ability. So there's a lot of reason to actually just continue to explore the map and try to find something that you haven't seen before. You know, or to find that unique geyser that is going to unlock some new abilities for you. Now you really do have to dig a lot because they're hard to find, but there should be more in here that are buried behind stuff. I'm kind of hoping to find something with magma down here. Ah! You can dig a lot, like a whole lot, and not find any. Sometimes there's like key indications where you can kind of see some, like a little bit of it popping out behind the screen, but no, nope. Oh, come on, I just want to find one. Oop, I'm gonna crash the game. I had another map where I dug out like the whole thing, but the poor thing just like kept crashing. Uh-oh, just like this. Uh-oh. Anyhow, looking back at the forms here, what else do we have? Liquid carbon dioxide. Look at that, negative 55 degrees Celsius. Or we have carbon dioxide at 500 degrees Celsius. Hydrogen as well, super hot. Contaminated oxygen or polluted oxygen, super hot. Or relatively cooler, but with slime lung. Chlorine as well, so that's not any new. Methane as well, also not new. But you can see the temperatures on it. Methane's actually really quite hot. Here's where things get really, really interesting. Molten copper, iron, or gold. Look at that. Over 2,000 degrees Celsius. Now, what can you do with something that is that hot? That opens up a whole room of extra things that we can do inside of the game because there's several different metals here that are not listed that we can melt down and refine without using a metal refinery. Or what happens if you take that liquid and you expose it to a pump, and before that pump explodes and breaks and everything, you pump it into the metal refinery and then superheat it beyond its maximum temperature. You can then turn molten metal into gas. And then maybe your game like this will probably break. Oh my. It's not doing too well. You know what? Let's go ahead and try that real quick. Let's just see what we can do. Yeah. Bum, bum, bum. Refinement. Boom. That there is quite literally liquid gold, which is now possible inside of the game. Not that it wasn't possible if you made the right equipment at the right time and all that good stuff. That's like legit now. Okay, so what if we break our crucible, right? Yeah, we're getting real technical with the terms now. And we have a pump down here made of whatever with a liquid pipe of nobody cares. Goes up here into that, and that recycles back around. Boom. We're going to make a wire of sacrifice over there, and there we go. Now we just go ahead and deconstruct that. Doop. And that should, hopefully, pump some of that liquid inside of there. Wow, that really disappeared fast. And it didn't pump any in. No! Well. Ha! Yeah, that isn't really working. Wait, now it's working. Huh. See, I knew there was a way to make this work. I now have liquid gold inside of my metal refinery. Perfect. Now what happens if I run this? Well, it just runs that pipe around, and you can see all the different contents inside of there. They're getting hotter. Ooh, and hotter. Now I now have gold at 2,000 some degrees. Look at the temperature overlay, see if anything. Oh, there it goes. Oh my. Oh man. There's liquid gold there. Only oxygen though. That's kind of disappointing. Can't really say that experiment was a success, but I did manage to heat a lot of stuff up. But the big thing is we now have the ability to really put some liquid method. Ooh. What about sand? Ooh. Can we refine sand inside of here? What temperature does sand melt into glass at? Oh, 1,700. So yeah, if you put that next to the metal refinery, it might be able to get hot enough to melt down, which would mean liquid glass. What good does liquid glass do you? I don't know. Molten glass. Ooh, yeah. I'm pretty sure if you make molten glass hot enough, it'll turn back into rock. So many new things that we could possibly try here inside of Oxygen Not Included with this new update. Hopefully you guys enjoy it, and if you got some ideas for me, go ahead and leave them down there in the comment section below. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you again soon. Have a great day, and if I've earned your subscription, then thank you so much for that. Stay awesome. Peace. Brothgar out.